Hey Zoey, so for GJ, I definitely agree with what you said, and as always, I have some details to add. So I was looking on higher time frames, and again, remember, we're trying to not only see the structure, but something of the quality, something of the relation. You did some of this, but some details are possible to add. So let's start with 6 months, and it's definitely a really bearish market. We most likely broke something here, we just don't have the data, or maybe it's just the start of GPY, but anyways, it looks like a break. 1 2 3 4, so we are really bearish. And what's interesting, we technically have a body candle close here, but see how this the technical break, how weak it is. And yeah, it's just looking like more like an absorption of this low, and we can pair this with the fact that we are a bit overextended structurally and maybe expecting some redistribution here, and in this case it gives us a little bit of bullishness. And this is what I have from 6 months, bearish technically with weak break, a bit overextended, and building inside structure. So this, by the way, structure is from 3 months, inside structure, which can be a sign of accumulation. This is what we have on 3 months. So basically same bearish structure and this weak break. But here we see that this break actually came from structural high, and now we have one bullish break to the upside, and technically this is a redistribution from a downtrend. But what's even more interesting is that we have this break, but it's so weak, so weaky, so low quality, so that the redistribution impulse, so we kind of expect it to be like this, yeah. But isn't it strange that this redistribution impulse is much better compared to this impulse? I would add even so-called impulse, so-called structural break. And more than that, after this break, we didn't manage to continue the overall trend, and we actually started a reaction from the most deeper zone on this 3 months chart. And again, it's like 55 or 45% bullish for me on 3 months, then it's bearish. Of course, I keep in mind this trend, but given the fact that we can expect some real redistributions and maybe take out these highs before continuing lower, it's some bullishness for me on 3 months. So for my 3 months, I wrote technical redistribution, however also possible a deeper pullback based on this clear bullish shift, and nice zone to mitigate right above this high. So even if we consider this as a one move, now we have only this unmitigated part and this one. So basically we can consider this as one. And now, even if it's bearish, given the fact that we are starting to move bullish, maybe we are going to mitigate something here. On monthly, I would just ignore these structural shifts and say that we are in this bullish range from 3 months, mitigating this really clear zone, failing to break it. And also the recent movement is really rangy and really not clear, and we are just moving from here to there, and that's why we need to go even lower to see what we have on daily and decide from there. So let's look on daily. And so if we look on daily, we started to react for this 3 month zone and started a bullish move, performing already several cycles of reaccumulation. So one here, one here, not here, then this one, and this one, or this, just one big. And now we had some structural movement and mitigated the zone, maybe from 3 days, something like that. Let me check. So overall moving in a bullish trend with reaccumulation, already created several cycles. Yes, it can be a sign that a deeper pullback is coming, or this all is a big trend change, but it can continue as well. So and on 3 days, On 3 days, we actually have much more clear structure. So we have a break, not even a break to this side. And we are building, what's interesting, we really start to build this chain of supply and demand, like full chain. Everything is mitigated. So basically, once we are breaking this, maybe we can consider this as reaccumulation. But if we then break, we then say that this was a chain and the market should continue from here. And if it's breaking, then maybe if it's switching to the bias of its long-term targets. However, it's too far away in the future to tell. Right now, I want to add that we just have this really nice chain of supply and demand, as you can see, these waves. And the most recent one is this one, which was again mitigated really deeply. Basically, this was a mitigation. And now a reaction started on 3 days. So pretty bullish. And this zone mitigated this zone in this turn. So let's go on daily and see what we have on daily. So on daily, basically the situation is the same. We had 4 breaks to the upside, and now we broke bearish from here, bearish from here, and eventually we broke bullish, and not only bullish, we reacted from a higher time frame zone, from a higher time frame chain, and again it all brings us back to the bullishness. We created 2 shifts on daily, then we created a reaccumulation, and now we started to break back bullish again. So all this combined, so this accumulation after the reaction or from a zone, all of this combined makes me pretty bullish on daily. And my daily is very bullish with a current bullish range like this one, and was created after reaccumulation on daily. So after this reaccumulation from a tap into 3-day zone. Now, and this mitigation, so you mentioned this zone on 4 hours or 8 hours. So I will come back to this, but we need to understand that we already are mitigating this, at least this big zone. So we have this big zone first of all, and we are already mitigating it. So maybe it's everything that the market needs to do. We are mitigating this bigger zone. Yes, the refinements are possible from here. But then if you do this, then maybe you need to go and take some, maybe this zone right away. Because if you are using this zone, what you have here is a low and a nice unmitigated zone just below it, or maybe even this one. And if the market will go here, then for me it's higher chances. So at least not look at this zone, but wait for a reaction. But most likely the zone will fail, and even if we see bullishness from these zones, we'll most likely see it from here in my eyes. And let's stop for a second and think about the counter scenario. Is that if maybe we are mitigating this, and then maybe we are going bearish from here. It's also possible, but we need to consider that we already had one more break, and now we broke to the upside, mitigated the zone, tried to react from it, and actually showed a reaction, but didn't manage to sustain it. And then we created instead, so this was first bullish shift, then second bullish shift, reaccumulated, and now created one more. So much more possible that this is just a target for this bullish move, and this longer term bullish targets from 3 days from daily. Same thing for 4 hours. Yes, we had this break, but it's only one break after bullish movement. So it's more likely to be a reaccumulation at this point, and it's all connected with the overall bullish bias. As for 1 hour, again, we are moving bullish, creating reaccumulation, and now we have 2 or 3 shifts to the downside. And what I don't like about this is a big number of inside structure with these bullish shifts, and they are not only bullish shifts, they are mitigating each other based on inside structure. Yes, this is bearish shift on 15 minute, but again, it's just reaccumulation if we want to see it that way, and we just can't start a proper bearish reaction from the zone. So we are in the zone for a long time and didn't produce this move, and so for me, again, it's all connected with the higher time frame bias, and because it's so bullish, I really don't trust this zone. And for me, there is no short-term bearishness unless we break this one. Because if we break this one, it will mean that we actually started a bearish reaction, and maybe we will go and mitigate something deeper. With that said, we are already mitigating this bigger zone. Shown reaccumulations on 4 hours, on 1 hour. Only after this, I would maybe look for some shorts into deeper zones. And overall bearishness will be after, of course, the break of this daily leg. And let's look on 15 minutes. So yes, this is what I'm talking about. If you look at this, I just see a bullish market. Yes, we had some shifts, but even if we see and count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, it's already technically a bit overextended and created a lot of bullish inside structure. Bearish now, from one break, see it as reaccumulation. And at this point of time, we even broke bullish from here. Yes, it's a really low quality break, but let's see on 30 minutes. So yeah, and by the way, on 30 minutes, we are in this bullish range. So we had a break of structure here, really nice clear zone. So to be honest, I would be either really short and bearish into this zone or just bullish at this moment. So these shifts are just really low quality and so on. So for me, there is no bearishness at all until we break this. One more thing about this impulse that I don't like is that it's all, when it was created, it was mitigated right away. So almost no imbalance, maybe something here. And now the market is here. So what is the reason that the market is already mitigated zones? Yes, it can close some orders, but usually when I see this, I expect this break. It just does not look like it wants to go down from here. Wanted to also show you this weird pair we discussed before. So this was your 15-minute zone. It actually worked for some entries if to look for a lower time frame entries, but then for hours actually showed a real nice reaction from the refined zone and started to go bullish. And so your bias was correct, and my bias is getting confirmed here.